I've shown off my liner lock version of the Tuch Knives Klick a while back, a couple of times. This is their new frame lock version of the Klick. These are production knives OEM'd by Bestech. They are done incredibly well. Really, really nice, just buttery smooth manual action on bearings with just a really perfectly tuned D10. And then almost dropped shut, which is really impressive considering how light this blade is. And then of course these are scale release autos. So you shift this top scale towards the spine here and it just fires open real nicely. These are OEM'd by Bestech, and the fit and finish and quality on these is just phenomenal. So anyway, since it's Tuesday, let's show you what makes a Klick tick. There's really not a whole lot to take apart to be able to show you the actual auto function, which is pretty cool. I believe I should be able to just take this top scale off. Ooh, it's juicy in there. Really, really juicy. Wow. All right, they did not skimp on the oil. But you can see what's going on. When you shift the scale, you are shifting this trigger plate, which shifts to the side. You can see up, whoop, bouncy, sorry about that. You can see up here at the top, that little pin sticking through, that is actually going through the top of the sear, which is a hook that hooks over the top of the spring. So when I close this, we should be able to see that little pin bump up as the hook latches over the top of the spring and then drop back down, just like that. And then when you fire it, it comes over and pushes that hook up and off the end of the spring, like that, and allows the auto function to fire. And then of course, if you leave it latched and don't mess with that, because the sear is holding the spring and not holding the blade like most traditional switch blades, you still have your manual function. So if you didn't know, you'd never know. That's the great thing about DAs. I love my autos sneaky. Pop these screws back in. Jumped onto the tip of the driver, so it would appear these screws are steel, not titanium. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I'm not going to take it apart the rest of the way because bearings are pretty standard. You can see down in there, there's a little tiny set screw, a little slot head set screw. That is what holds the spring in place. If you were to loosen that set screw, you'd be able to slide the spring up and out if you needed to replace it, or if for some reason you wanted to completely disable the auto function to avoid any sort of liability for carrying a switchblade. You could drop that spring out and this would just be a full manual folder without any problems. These come in at $400 table price, which seems a little high for a Chinese frame lock, until you take into account that this is not just a Chinese frame lock. This is a Chinese frame lock DA in full titanium, and that is an incredible value. There is nothing else on the market like this. Boker does a few very, very inexpensive DAs. I think they're currently remaking the V&D under the Boker Plus line for like $60. But those are arguably terrible knives. I mean, they're great entry-level knives, but but yeah, they're not amazing. This, a titanium frame lock dual action for $400, done incredibly well on bearings. That is a phenomenal value. So yeah, definitely check these out if you're a DA junkie like I am. There should be a bunch of these available. Bill said that there's going to be an ongoing production of these now that they've gotten them all dialed in, and they also plan on doing a larger version of this, which I think will be very popular, because some people do find this one a little small. I like it as a nice little watch pocket carry, very unobtrusive and somewhat non-threatening in its size, but a larger version would definitely open up the market a little bit. Oh, and focus, these are now, focus, god damn you, being produced in MagnaCut instead of the M390 that was used on the liner lock versions. So that's even crazier, getting a $400 titanium frame lock DA with a MagnaCut blade. Very, very cool. Thanks again to Bill for hooking me up with this one. He did give me this one to play around with and check out, because he knows I love DAs, and chances are I'll probably carve this thing up at some point, and he wants to see what I'm going to do with it. So thanks again, Bill. And there you go.